Knowledge is power, and this is powerful stuff. Wellness Education Cannabis Advocates of Nevada present the We Can 702 Nevada Cannabis News Hour with the We Can radio team. For the next 60 minutes, we'll take an in-depth look at the cannabis reform revolution sweeping the nation. Now, let's fire up the news hour. Here is the We Can radio team.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Nevada Cannabis News Hour. It's Tuesday, February 16th. In the studios here at VANR, Vegas All Net Radio. We have Lawrence on the boards, me, Kurt. We got William Beach Baker, and of course Perry Haichu here. So,
thank you.
So,
good to be here.
Yep. So, news in Las Vegas. So let's see. We had the advocate workshop last Thursday. Mm-hmm. That was big news. That was a great turnout. We had I did a head count over 67, not as much as last time. Last time we had like 80, but I guess few people were under the weather, and there was a nurses meeting, so we lost a few of our advocates to that also. Mm-hmm. A very successful meeting. It really was. What
was the theme?
I think it was Kumbaya or something like that.
Well, the theme on this one was educating people on how to become their own best advocate, and also to unite the community. And it really seems like these meetings are uniting the community. A lot of people were on completely different pages at the beginning of these meetings, and now they're all kind of coming to the same conclusion that we need to work together and we need to have the same message. So it's starting to shape up. We're getting some great people from the community coming in. And I think we're going to be very successful this next legislative session, with all the tools we have at hand.
So. Good.
Yeah, there seems to be a pretty good consensus on quite a number of issues, like growing your own and keeping those rights and patient access and things like that. So it's nice to see people put aside some of their differences, and because the truth is, like we've always said, there's room for everyone.
I forgot who said once, don't look for what you don't agree upon, look for what you do agree upon and build on that. Don't
the common denominators, and there's a lot of them, and we try to reflect that. We can try to reflect that, even on our board, our radio team, and everything else. We have Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, right wing, left wing, middle wing, but we all agree on certain issues, and cannabis and hemp and patient advocacy and responsible good government. All those things are very important to all of us. So we're like. I guess Judge Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the two total opposites or whatever, and they find the common denominator. Mm-hmm. I think that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, we have quite a diverse crowd, and especially coming to these meetings. I mean, We only had one guy at this meeting. He was at the last meeting who really wasn't on the same page as everyone, and he got up right at the beginning of the meeting and started spouting off on how we need to sue people, and we need to sue people in California. and Jen was up at the podium at the time, and she said, well, that sounds like a great idea. Anybody here want to help him with this? And nobody raised their hand, and the guy just kind of got up and left, because that's not the message that we're trying to put out there. I mean, suing people has its place, but that's not how you get laws changed. You don't change laws by suing people. You don't change the laws in the courts. You change the laws at legislature, and that's who we're working with and trying to get this done here. So,
yeah. Sometimes our California brothers don't understand. We love our California brothers. They sort of think of Vegas as their little part of their suburban LA or something they can hide out in. But in Nevada, it's slightly different, and around the country, it's slightly different. Nobody's quite like California's marijuana program,
no doubt.
Because it's we call it the helter-skelter of programs, because it's every county, every municipality, every city. They can pretty much do whatever they want. Although they have led the fight and they have opened the doors for all of us, and we are grateful to you, California people. We love you, and we appreciate your business, okay? But in Nevada, we're building a statewide model, just like the rest of the country. And eventually it's going to be a model, we hope, for the nation that works for all the states and works for the nation. And reciprocity started in Nevada, so we're the top dog there.
That's a battle born.
And we welcome our California people with license. Come on to Nevada. It must be working, because 60% of the businesses, the dispensaries report, is out-of-state business. So something's happening.
I did not predict that.
Yeah, and and most people don't even know about it yet. So wait till they really figure it all out. All the big Super Bowls and all the things that are coming in the future, and if the NFL comes here and all the things. This is an incredible place and an incredible time to be alive. And we're on the internet because we're reaching out to all the world and all America. That if you have a medical marijuana card, you're in Michigan and watching this show right now, and you're coming on vacation, we want you to come to Vegas. Don't listen to the president, come to Vegas. Okay? And we
That's
love
right.
the president, but come to Vegas, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's my little speech.
Yeah, and when you do come here, you are a patient here, and
That's right.
I have a little pride in that too. The fact that we started that here in Las Vegas, and that was a big drive. Weekend pushed on that at the beginning, and now the fact is that other states are jumping on board.
It just seems like a no-brainer. It's an easy
miracle.
It's an easy way to not ham up police resources on something that people have obviously jumped through hoops for. It seems like an obvious revenue stream. It seems to ease travel anxiety between patients.
Oh my
And
God.
There's a lot
and
going on
I don't
there.
know why they didn't do it right from the get-go in every state, because
I don't know
I don't know
what the thought
about
process was
other
with that.
states, but I know through our process, I heard it time and time again from the people writing the laws. If this is truly medicine, then we need to treat it like medicine.
Right.
Well, if it's truly medicine, then somebody who has a recommendation in another state should be able to use it in this state.
Right.
I mean,
I've heard that Rhode Island has it, and I think Hawaii is going to have it at a future date. Like it phases in a couple years or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, coming from a political background, if there's any legislators out there, I'd like to give you a little advice. You folks need to settle this issue. Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
The courts, just like in our news here in Vegas, these things are constitutional, and we've got some news on that.
it is
But,
disappointing how slow it's going with
the
other states.
legislatures need to take care of this. Otherwise, the people will. In referendums, when we vote this stuff in, that becomes the law, and that's the way it is. So you either, get on our side, or we're going to get on your side.
Well, we'll see
But,
where it goes.
and in other local news, let's see, we got.
Well, can I jump back to your little
Yeah.
the meeting you were talking about?
Yeah.
What happens now? The issues were discussed. People are starting to get on the same page. Where does this go now? When's the next powwow? Where do we?
Our next meeting will probably be in April, and that'll be after the Nevada Marijuana Council meets again and the lab committee meets again. So we'll have a little more information. Nellis should be up and running right now. The Nellis registry, they haven't put anything up for the 70. I believe it's a 79th session
Right.
this time. There's none of the bills are up on that, but we showed, we gave people a sheet on how to do that. But we're going to actually start to form groups of people who've been coming to this meeting, people that are real passionate about one topic or another. We're going to have them heading up subgroups and working on those laws, and then we'll present them to the council and up in legislature next year when we go up there.
Okay.
So, but the biggest thing is we want everyone to have the same message. What we got from a lot of the people up in Carson City last session was, we one day we'd get barraged with, we don't want this from the patients, and then the next day it would be, yes, we do want this from the patients. So they didn't know what to do. I mean, because as I say, not only as are we educating patients, we're educating the lawmakers.
Sure.
These people don't know anything about this. They don't know how to write these laws. This is a whole new world for them. A lot of them are still afraid of the federal thing. Some of them still have their own personal issues and agendas that they're pushing. They're against it, and they're, regardless of what the law says, they don't want it to happen. So they're doing everything they can to stop it.
Right.
And then there's the ones that are on our side, the good ones.
Right.
We're losing somebody up on the assembly this year, Michelle Fiore. She is not running this year. She's running for Congress instead. So we have another candidate coming in who we're going to be having at our meetings, and he is a pro-cannabis candidate who we're hoping that gets voted in there in Michelle's place, because she was a huge part of helping us get this through last time. Without her
doubt.
vote, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you, Michelle.
It's
and,
crazy. There were so many people, you know what I mean, who had to make it, who had that deciding vote. I mean, it was beyond close. Just,
Yeah.
I don't really want to get into it too deep, but that I think the Peggy Pierce lady who was really sick and had to come in and and cast her vote, and it's like
voted on her deathbed.
Like so many people had to come in. Like it all had to come together just so, and I don't know why the universe came together for us that day, but we were blessed to have it go forward.
Well, politics makes strange bedfellows. We've made a lot of friends with the Republicans and the Democrats, and sometimes they switch sides on us. So it is kind of interesting. The only ones that have really been true blue to us from day one have been the Libertarians, but and we love them.
Poll numbers are
we
a
have to
tricky
work
thing.
with who's
Well,
there.
as a party, I would say the Libertarians have been more vocal and on our side, but true blue when it comes to the state of Nevada, I mean, we got Tick Segerblum. He's on our side 100% all the way till this is done and over with.
Yeah.
We had Michelle.
And we had Lieutenant Governor, a Republican, and him and Tick, they were the sponsors of the bill, and the governor signed our bill, and a lot of surprises there.
Yes.
Except that we did have some inside knowledge on that for a couple years actually, and we stayed with our hopes and prayers, and it all worked and came out. So we thank all of you.
Now look, we have legal state dispensaries. We have patients getting access to safe, tested medicine. We got another one that's opening tomorrow, Essence Vegas. They have 3 locations, and they just signed on as a sponsor of Weekend. So shout out to Essence.
Yes.
Tomorrow they're doing their grand opening on their West Tropicana store, which is 5765 West Tropicana. And if you go to EssenceVegas.com, you can pre-register, and you'll receive 25% off your entire order tomorrow night. And let them know you heard about that from Weekend.
Yeah.
So,
is there a time on that? How long does it go?
it goes from 4 o'clock tomorrow night till 10 p.m.
Oh, well, that's pretty good long time to get in there.
That's a good little happy
After
hour.
work, on your way home, you're going to unwind anyways, right, folks?
I
And
gotta-
stop by. And these grand openings, I went to one, they're pretty incredible.
Yeah, they have some great
Pretty
deals,
incredible.
lots of good people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a story that kind of ties into that. You were referencing patients finally being able to have the safe lab-tested medicine and things like that. Well, here's a story that was in the Review Journal the other day about these medical marijuana dispensaries are finally starting to do home deliveries. It says here, some brick-and-mortar marijuana dispensaries have become delivery services to homes, but unfortunately not to hotels and not to tourists. As long as medical marijuana patient card holders have valid Nevada addresses, some physical location dispensaries are driving cannabis to these patients suffering from cancer, migraines, and, of course, these other health concerns that people get their cards for. I think a lot more of these shops are planning to deliver. Some of them have, minimum orders. Like some of them, you have to have a minimum $50 order, $100 order.
Yeah.
It depends on the shop. Of course, you can just talk to the receptionist, and they'll take care of you.
Right.
But let's see. I think there's like 10 or 12 open. Well, including the new Essence West and the Sahara Wellness. I think there's 12 now, or 10 or 12. It's just they're opening more rather quickly, but it's nowhere near the number of illegitimate delivery services that are still operating, or non-business licensed delivery services that are still operating in the valley. I think, according to the article here, there's still more than 80 that are still openly advertising on weed maps. So they're going to still have to, unfortunately, deal with that and kind of try to. I've heard rumors that weed maps is going to shut them. Shut those guys out eventually, but that's just a rumor. We'll see as the months go by. If they decide to take action.
There's been suggestions that they need to clamp down on the weed maps advertising and any advertising of these illegal businesses. I don't believe we should add any new laws. I think we should just enforce the laws that we have in place right now.
Exactly.
And because there's enough we've criminalized enough people for this plant that we don't need to enact new laws to criminalize more people. The delivery services that have been operating, you kind of take your own chance with them. You know what I mean? And most people know that.
Sure.
It's hit or miss on what you're going to get. I've heard it from hundreds of patients in the community, and also when they're even going to get there. You place an order and 6 hours later you're still waiting for them. You've called them 10 times and they keep saying they're on their way. That doesn't happen with the state licensed ones.
Right.
So.
But still, the state licensed ones are kind of hamstrung because they can't deliver to the damn hotels.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about, 60% of the business, you said 60% of the business from a lot of these dispensaries supposedly is coming from out-of-state clients or patients. If that's true, then supposedly their business could increase multiple times over if they were just allowed to serve the patient as, let's say, like, I don't think there's any rules against an outside delivery service coming in. Like if you wanted a Domino's pizza and you just had to have a Domino's pizza, even though they have in-room
stuffed crust.
Well, they have in-room, what do they call that? Room service. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Room service. I don't think they force you to do it. I believe that a lot of hotels still allow you to bring that stuff in. I think it's just because it's this product that they're like, we don't want you around here because of this. There's cash exchanged or whatever it is.
It's actually written in the law that they can only deliver to a Nevada patient at the address on their card.
Right.
Actually,
so you set up.
I don't think you can use an outside delivery service, but there is a place called 420 Tours in town now that will pick up out-of-state tourists, and they pick you up in like an Escalade, and it's pretty pimped out on the inside.
Yeah,
really nice.
That's badass. But how much does that cost? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a tourist town, and the truth is this is called medical tourism. One of our favorite people that helped start all this, Councilwoman. She talked about medical tourism all the time. And so, and that's what this is about. So we're always going to have a two-tier kind of thing.
Well,
and eventually the casinos and everybody will get in on this. But
well, do you think that's something we might be able to look at clarifying eventually in legislature? Like, it seems like such a no-brainer since we already have reciprocity in place. And I don't know if we would get friction from the hotel companies trying to, step on their toes, or would we approach them directly? How do you address that? City councilman or city councilwoman who operates the strip, or
I think that this is going to be an issue unless Initiative Petition 1 passes this fall. If we pass adult use, I think that'll be a real easy law to get changed.
Sure.
There's a lot of
if
that.
everybody can use it, why do we have to limit where they can deliver it to? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense, financial sense for the businesses, or sense for the patients or whoever wants to use it. So
I hate to put it so bluntly, but we still haven't resolved the issue of where people can legally smoke.
Right. Well,
out of public view.
We're kind of jumping ahead because the truth of the matter is some of this is dependent
Hotel
on
policy,
rescheduling.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the hotels don't allow it. I mean, but the law says out of public view. So say that this studio was okay with it. We're not in public view. Legally, we could smoke here. We don't because
we're business people, and we don't do that.
It's
we're
not
responsible
the studio,
and we want to get through the show.
But as long as you're out of public view, then you're legal. You're legal to use. That's what the law says.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it could be a business. It could be a house. It could just somewhere where the public cannot see you.
Is there a law stopping from someone from opening like a Bluebird Cafe style thing? Like they had that, or do you see a potential business opportunity with that in the future due to if the hotels are like, we really don't want you guys smoking weed in our rooms or this or that, do you see an opportunity for something like that to pop up?
I mean, that would be the ideal situation for
I do envision that.
I mean,
and I think they envision that too. We're in like the first dispensation of this, the first phase of this industry, and originally supposed to open 40 dispensaries just in this county alone. Well, we know
48.
we're not getting there.
Because I just don't think that
but,
I don't think that the commissioners
not in,
want people like walking up and down the strip like just smoking joints out in public.
No,
there's got to be somewhere for these people to go, and that the casinos don't want every single hotel hallway to smell like weed, which is what will end up happening. So there's got to be something that can be done. Of course, we can encourage people to use vaporizer pens, but flowers will still be predominant, I'm going to assume.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's always about the money, and the casinos, it's about the money too. And I envision that they will have lounges, and they will accommodate their customers, because there's going to be millions of people.
I guess it's all about whether it
weed,
increases their drop or not.
Simple as that. And they'll take care of that.
Put some machines in
there. They run a
so
pretty
that
good
people
business.
can play. That's their main goal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Cheech and Chong slot machines, although they're all common, folks.
But for your point on how much does it cost, these people that are tourists that are here anyway, they're hiring cabs to take them places. A lot of them don't have cars. So this is just basically another version of a cab. But a little more,
lot of the shops
a little
are
more
fairly,
420 out.
A lot
And
of the
you're gonna
shops are close
have,
to the strip anyway, so
Yeah.
You're going to go up to the tourist desk. You're going to talk to the valet. You're going to they're going to have. There's a guy out front in the cab, and it's tricked out. He's ready to roll. Let's go.
well, like,
Every hotel is going to have a bus, or the airport. They're going to be. I'm telling you.
well,
folks,
now that
this
I'm
is,
thinking about it, if you're
this is
staying at like
Vegas.
the Stratosphere or the SLS or
Yeah.
the Westgate, you can damn near walk to Las Vegas Relief and a couple other places now.
Yeah, you can walk
So-
there easy.
Yeah,
that would
Las
be
Vegas
simple.
Relief, Sahara Wellness.
And I
a
guess
little
if
bit
you,
further
if you
down
want
to
to
get
hike
to
a little
Right.
bit, you could walk from Circus or whatever. But still, like there's a few good sized hotels that are within walking distance of some of these places.
Yeah, but half of the tourists
the Mandalay
are from
Bay, not so much,
California, and half of them are in automobiles. Right?
And-
so they're okay, and they're cruising past these places, and they're in the suburbs now, folks. They're in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And Essence, who's opening on West Trop tomorrow, they actually have 3 locations, and their other 2 locations
Good for
opening
them.
next month. One is actually on the Strip, Las Vegas Boulevard,
yeah,
right over by Sahara. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
hot
I mean,
dog.
so there's going to be plenty of them out there for the tourists
Yeah.
that come that need their medicine. So
Yeah.
that's not a problem. Also, another shout out, another new sponsor that just signed on with us, Sahara Wellness, over on 420 East Sahara.
Sahara Wellness.
So, yep.
That's another good name.
Yep, and they're open and running right now, and that they're offering 10% off to first-time patients over there right
Cool.
now. So
Yeah, it's nice to see that part of the Strip coming back to life. Isn't it? Because I mean, when the Sahara went down, and now it's the SLS, which is very nice, and now they have the that big party thing across the street there. What
Yeah,
was
the
that?
Rock and Rio Festival
Rio.
grounds that they
Yeah,
redeveloped.
so I think it's nice to see that part of it. I always like Bonanza, going into Bonanza souvenir shop, but
I'll be
Other than that.
impressed, or I'll be a little more relieved when they really start grinding hard on the former Stardust project, which is now the Resorts World,
Yeah.
and the former Frontier, which is supposed to be like the Alon or something like that. But they haven't moved on that. But
Right.
people keep saying, "Oh, the Strip's going to come alive." I'm like, well, when I start seeing the cranes going up again,
Yeah.
I'll be a little bit more excited.
yeah, that Frontier property's been pretty much a black hole since I lived here. I
You
mean,
ain't
it's
kidding.
the first
Yeah.
5 or 6 years they were
I rem-
constantly on strike, and then now it's just been vacant.
Oh yeah, I remember when it went down. They're like, "We're going to build this great place," and then cricket. Same thing with
Yeah.
the Stardust, and
well,
Well,
and I miss.
we'll-
Now we
Yeah.
lost the Riviera right there too. I mean, that
Yeah,
used to
that
be one of my
sucked.
favorite corners.
Yeah.
I mean, it was some of the best lights in town. It was real easy to get around, travel to all the different casinos in there, and
Right.
they had some good shows. And now it's gone.
What we need is a good implosion party. Vegas, we used to have these local implosion
what happened
parties,
to
right?
I keep saying
Pretty
there's only
fun,
one
you
way
know?
to do the Riviera. It's got to be an implosion on New Year's
Yeah.
Eve at midnight. Like really
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
big, But I don't know if they're going to do something like that.
I think my favorite was the Hacienda going. That was
Yeah.
that was a good one. They took it down level by level. It was pretty cool, and they did a whole thing with the wind where he fired off the cannons over at the Treasure Island, and
Yeah.
that's what supposedly blew up the Hacienda.
yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah. And it amazes you because no city in America would allow people to just congregate and, okay, now we'll close you in and we'll close you off. You can't leave and you got to stay here and watch this thing. And I just think that's so incredible,
Very
You're in your
very
RV
good.
watching this thing go up.
so let's see what else we had. Local news.
Yeah.
We had another grow house bust last week. Yeah. So the grow house bust. They say reflective of larger problem. I don't believe that headline. This is
Yeah.
not your typical grow house bust. This was basically criminals. These weren't patients. These are people that there was near Pecos Road and Hacienda Avenue last week Wednesday, and they say the marijuana grown inside could be linked to an illegal delivery service commonly found online. They haven't released anything yet.
Yeah.
My guess is they probably already know the delivery service, and they went after the supply, and now they'll come after the delivery service because that's kind of the way law enforcement
Absolutely.
works. So
That's exactly what they're doing.
yeah, but I guess a couple next door, they say the last couple days they went out on their patio saying they smell a weird smell. So, and they had no idea what it was. And then a drug task force found more than 100 plants and a complex grow operation inside the house on Maryland Parkway.
Come on, man.
Metro police say the drugs have a street value up to $300,000, which means it's probably about $100,000.
Yeah.
The equipment is valued at 15 to 20. That I believe, because this equipment
Sure.
is not
Yeah.
cheap. So,
look, if you want to grow 100 plants, they have licenses available for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
now.
and you're breaking the law. I mean, come on now, fellas.
Well, it's hard for me to get, like, if you pop a patient who's got 12, 15 plants, I'm just like, man, that's ridiculous. But the guy has 100, 150 plants in a house. It's just like, we have steps available for you and your partners who obviously have the money to invest if you're dropping 20, 30 grand on a grow room to look at these legal avenues to get into this, man. It's just like, I know it's going to cost more than that to get a cultivation facility, of course.
These people, I don't know if they had a whole lot of money because they didn't rent this house. They didn't own this house. This was a bank-owned property.
Squatters.
That they were squatting in and growing marijuana in.
Oh, man.
So I mean, there's the
were
first
they stealing the power too?
Yeah,
it doesn't say that, but I'm sure they will because most of the time, once a house goes bank-owned, the power company comes and takes your meter. So.
Right.
And then they start wondering, why are you using 20,000 gallons of water every month and doing this and electricity?
Yeah. So this is just another case of some people breaking the law, and what it actually ends up doing is it ends up hurting us as patients. And and I know their claims are going to be, oh, we're patients or we're growing for patients and we only sell to patients, but by what you're doing, you're actually hurting our system, and you're not benefiting the patients whatsoever when you get caught doing these things. You're actually making it harder on us.
Right.
So,
right.
You know.
Yeah. Everyone that has tried to play both sides of the street, and we've had a lot of them. They've helped us.
Well,
and they've
you
been
know
on our
what?
board, and
I
they
tell
fall
you
by the
what,
wayside.
There was a legitimate reason for these places to exist at one time, and really, it's just like
there is demand for this.
There's a lot of demand, and the prices still haven't fallen to match a lot of these things, and this is going to continue to be a problem until the prices are able to match, and people don't want to hear it, but really. If I could wave a magic wand, I would allow everyone who wanted to apply for a business license and start paying taxes.
Tax them.
And, start doing all this
Regulate
kind of stuff.
the crap out of them.
And, really, it's just one of those things. Like, you want to make taxpayers out of these people, then do it.
Yeah.
Don't cherry pick a few winners. Just allow the free market to dictate who does it right and who doesn't. You'll have these people who take the time to spend all this money that want to have a brick and mortar shop, or you'll have people who want to keep it small and do a local delivery service, just very similar to how you have in California and things like that. Right. Now, I know no one wants to hear we should do what California does, and I'm not saying we should emulate them 100%, but what I'm saying is that the more people you have paying taxes, the better it is for the city.
Absolutely.
It's not what people want to hear. It's not what's best for you or me or this guy or the business owners or even the politicians. But for really what's best for the city is to get everyone possible legal.
Right.
And that's it. But that's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not a county commission decision. That would be a state thing, and that would be like rewriting the whole law. It would never happen. But that would be my solution. Of course, if I could go back and rewrite it all.
Yeah, the little guy could be like a boutique single business person, and they could run their stuff through a lab and get it tested, and you know what you're getting.
Yeah, as long as everyone's doing it legit, pay your damn taxes.
You could have so many patients, and that would be enough for your crop or whatever. So I do encourage the legislature to consider increasing the amount of what a caregiver can do, how many patients they can have, and things like that, and co-ops and other things are good too. So it's all about the patient. We would never want to lose sight of that. So, that's pretty interesting observations there.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes.
we will see.
Also we got some big news out of Nevada Pure, another one of our sponsors there, out there on Boulder Highway. They were out at the High Times Cannabis Cups a couple weekends ago, and they took first place for their Goji DC Shatter by Moxie.
Really?
Oh,
impressive!
And then they placed third place in flower for their new flower Kooks, which I tried, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that, but I didn't
impressive.
try it.
I didn't realize they had won first place. So what happens now? Are they automatically grandfathered into the next competition, or do they have to go defend their title? Or
I'm not
they
sure.
Amsterdam now, or
I'm not sure how it
it's
works.
It's not in Amsterdam anymore. It's in Jamaica now.
Yeah,
right?
but is this the first time Nevada has been officially recognized in this competition? Because now we're in a whole new industry here.
I'm not sure. I know they get some trophies to put on their shelves.
So
that's really cool.
So I guess Nevada's on the map now.
That's very interesting. I hadn't thought of that, Beach. Are they the first High Times
I'm
Cannabis
wondering.
Cup?
I'm just wondering.
Not
And if they
winning a
are,
placer.
Kathy, congratulations.
Yeah, no
And
doubt.
Nevada
Congratulations
Pure,
to the whole team. You know, the whole cultivation
Yeah.
and production extraction team. That's
Yeah.
really impressive.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Well,
all that.
Yeah, they're the only ones doing the Moxie here in Nevada. So if you see you look for Moxie on the shelves, a lot of the dispensaries are carrying
Yeah,
it, but
they're
it's all
buying
coming
it.
from Nevada Pure.
I noticed that. I was over at the source and I had a half gram of it, and I got the package, and it said Nevada Pure, and I was just like, "That's kind of funny," you know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's just the way this industry is working. They're fully integrated, so they get to do that.
Well, I think they're one of only 2 places right now that are making the shatters and the waxes. So I mean, just about anywhere you get it from, you're probably
Right.
you know, and if it's Moxie, you know it came from
Right.
Nevada
Sure.
Pure.
Or if it's a chocolate bar or a candy bar or something like that, it could have come from Nevada Pure.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's at a different dispensary.
Yeah, I
I've
think
seen that quite a bit.
I think a majority of what we've been seeing is either from in the edibles has been Nevada Pure or Evergreen Organics
Yeah.
is what I've seen.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, and what's interesting is they grow it there, they produce it there, they make candy
Package it
they have
there.
a factory. It's just so incredible to see this all under one roof here in Las Vegas. Beautiful, beautiful Las Vegas.
Yep. So it's about time for our break, and we'll come back in a little bit more. All right.
You're listening to the Weekend 702 Nevada Cannabis News Hour. Now, here again, the Weekend Radio Team.
Welcome back to Nevada Cannabis News. So, as you can see, we have lots more great stuff out here from some of our good friends at Champs that donated to us. If you're wondering what these things are, these are all gifts that were donated to us from the fine people over at the Champs Glass shows. If you see stuff you like here, you need to come to our events and our parties, because everything that you see here, all the stuff that was donated to us, we either raffle off or sell out at our retail stuff to raise money for our nonprofit. So, yep. So a couple of things we got today, or the last Champs, we got our 3D tapestry here with
Wow.
Very
And
60-inch by 90-inch
yeah.
tapestry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tapestry,
we can't hang
and,
on to these
and it's
books.
3D. So
We go through those like crazy.
yeah, it comes with a pair of 3D glasses, so they're
Yeah.
pretty cool. And that was donated by our friends over at Sunshine Joy. So, and then we got another vaporizer there from our friends over at Cloud Pens.
I have a Cloud Pen. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, Cloud Pen seems to be a pretty reliable model when it
Yeah.
comes to vaporizers. So, we got the new dry herb and flower, or dry herb and oil vaporizer by Da Vinci Vaporizers, the accent up there. Da Vinci Vaporizers, that, you know, they're local here. They're right out of Las Vegas.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, yeah.
They seem to be very, I guess, coveted among connoisseurs. A lot
Yeah,
of
that's
people
what I
who
hear
kind
too.
of are in the know
I wouldn't know
say
that.
that you got to spend the money and get a Da Vinci vape. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I personally, I haven't dropped the cash to grab myself one yet,
Yeah.
but you know, that's kind of the word around the campfire.
Yeah, that's nice. One they donate to us on a regular basis. One of our
Yes, they do.
members actually won the accent last time we had it. She loves it. Wonderful for dry herb and for oils and waxes. So,
Right.
got a new product today. The T-Rex over there, the rosin press, the green rosin press. That was donated by Tarek Rosin. Now it's a temperature controlled rosin press, and it heats up, and you apply the pressure yourself. You put your flower between 2 pieces of wax paper, and you turn on the heat, and you press down, and it makes fresh live rosin. And you scrape that rosin off, and you use it for dabs. No butane, no chemicals in it, just heat and pressure to
Solvent-free.
extract it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
good stuff. A little personal rosin press there. We got a Dark Side of the Moon print there from Get Down Art, another local venue out here. Some great art. Hope to have some of their stuff at First Friday. I keep inviting them out, but they haven't made it out to us yet. So we got. I'll hold that one up, Beach. The Vapium by Summit.
Yeah.
That was that was donated to us by
I was looking at
Vapium.
this myself. Yeah.
Yep,
Where's that
that's another dry herb
Yeah.
vaporizer there. Yep, and then we got the lunch box, which also has some foam in it, so you can store your glass. That thing is great. It's got references to every movie I can think of on there, and that was
Grateful Dead on there.
Yep, that was donated by our friends over at Stoner Days, and they also donated the 4 little dab mats out in the front there that you see there, the Dank of America mats and all that. So
nice little collection.
And what about our
mats?
favorite metal glass pipe?
Oh yeah, the
You would
pipe.
skip over that, wouldn't
The
you?
Pipe Tech, from Pipe Tech, the Prometheus pipe up there. That's a glass and metal. None of the smoke touches any metal. It all goes through glass. It's got a screen built into it, real easy to clean and take apart and clean also. So just a wonderful pipe. It kind of reminds me of the old prototypes that they came out
So
with.
what's the point of it? To have the glass, the metal to protect the glass, but you're still like the durability of a
you
metal
drop
pipe?
you drop it, and the glass doesn't touch anywhere because it's all encased by the aluminum.
Okay.
So when you drop it, you're not going to shatter your piece, but you get the quality of smoking out of glass compared to a metal
All right, that's
pipe.
clever.
Plus the ease
I like
of
it.
cleaning.
Yeah, the ease of cleaning.
It comes with a really cool grinder over there, I noticed.
And it looks
Oh no,
cool.
the grinders are separate. We got two different grinders there donated to us. One
Couple
from
little grinder.
Prometheus, which has been a big time donator of ours. We're also looking into doing some branding. We might get some weekend grinders from them.
Very cool.
And then the other one, we got a 3-piece over there, the black one from SLX grinders. And SLX are wonderful grinders. They're like non-stick, nothing sticks to them. So when you get that sticky wicky in there, it doesn't gum it up as bad as some of the other grinders do. So.
Very good.
But
Very good.
yeah, that's some of the great stuff we got from our friends at Champs. Make sure you guys check these people out, support them. These people support us, and they help us help patients. So if you're on the fence or something, or you want to see any of these products, come on out to our events and visit us. We have them with us. And as I say, any of the smoking utensils, come to our potlucks and our parties. We raffle these things off all the time, so you could win that for $1.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Magic.
Yeah, just $1. That's all we charge. We don't, even our parties are reasonable, $10, $15. And we keep everything as cheap or free as possible. Okay, and we only charge when we have to, basically. And we certainly give discounts to contributing members, and you can buy a membership and things like that and save some money too. So we come on out, and we'd love to have you. And $1, you can get in on the raffle and just have a good old time. Always lots of great food.
Speaking of keeping things cheap, I have an unfortunate story out of California here about the double standard that medical marijuana patients face on a daily basis. And this claims that a state senator from Northern California has introduced a bill recently that would impose a 15% tax on retail sales of medical marijuana. Medical marijuana, which is fine, but a lot of people have if it's medicine, it should be treated like medicine.
Right.
But if it's medicine, you shouldn't tax it because they thought you weren't supposed to tax medicine.
Yeah.
But this medicine is different because it's marijuana medicine, so we should tax the hell out of that.
Well, I wonder how
And
much you're going to siphon off for other things.
They said it would be about $100 million is what they're estimating annually if they really got what they want out of it. And let's see. This gentleman wants to direct 30% of the revenues collected to the new state agency that will be charged with enforcing the new medical marijuana licensing regulations that the legislature approved last year. Okay, I can understand they want to raise money to implement the program.
Okay.
Let's see here. They want 20% of the money to running state parks, 10% to a county substance abuse program, among other things. Let's see. The Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation would be charged with distributing the funds as grants to help local governments with the cost of enforcing the regulations. But unfortunately, like other tax measures, the bill requires a 2/3 majority vote and the governor's signature.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll see where this really goes.
Right, and I can see municipalities trying to siphon this off too,
Well-
and they're going to be applying for it for all kinds of goofy reasons.
15% tax is rather
Some
hardy.
of it sounds good. Obviously you need enforcement, you need money back into the industry and back into the patients and so on and so forth. But, going to the parks, paying for the parks, what's that? I mean, can we smoke in the parks now?
Apparently not. That would be
I mean,
nice.
they
Yeah,
don't
I
let
was-
us even do that,
That's
right?
funny. I was kind of thinking the same
California,
thing.
I don't
If
know.
marijuana money
I mean-
is going to the state parks. Are
Okay.
they going to loosen that
Yeah.
that regulation? Probably not.
I don't think you can. I mean, they don't even allow you to play football or frisbee on the beach. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
Well, people. I don't think people really are aware of how many different jurisdictions you pass through by going through like a regular state. Like, let's say I have a medical marijuana card in the state of Nevada, and I'm take a trip to Red Rock Canyon or Lake Mead. Well, as far as I'm aware, that's Bureau of Land Management or federal agency. So technically, I don't think my card would be valid there, or maybe even not on Mount Charleston because it's federal, even though it's technically within the city of Las Vegas. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a national forest, and and it's like you jump through all these different jurisdictions, and like when travelers are going around, even when you think you're safe within your own state, man, you got to be aware. Just like do your homework.
Yeah, that's another thing. Even if you have a medical marijuana card and you're in a federal park camping, you can still get a ticket, and it's not a fun ticket. It's beyond a state ticket. It's a federal charge, and they will put you through the ringer, and you'll be under probation and everything for a year to 2 years without a problem. We've had a couple of members go through that, and regardless if it's in a state where it's a medical marijuana state, if you're in a federal park, you're under federal laws, not under state laws at that point.
Yeah,
so you got to be careful, because they'll come up behind you when you're sitting at that fire pit at night and you don't see them coming up because you're looking into the fire and it's dark and they're coming out of the dark, and they come right up on you, and next thing you know, you're facing a possession charge and tied up for a year and a half with legal stuff.
Right.
You know, so.
And it is interesting because I'm a Black Rock City Ranger. I'm a volunteer ranger for a city called Black Rock City, Nevada, which is a temporary 8-day city that a group of people called Burning Man put together. And it's on federal land. So there are some weird rules. Like you can actually have it locked up in your car because it's your personal possessions and stuff. And you might get away with it in your car, but you're not going to get away with it even in your tent if they smell it or they want to whatever. So it's federal land, and
so does that mean
your state license really isn't valid there, although you do have a right to have it in your own personal luggage or whatever and locked away, but you're not supposed to be touching it, on federal land. So once you get out of the car, that makes a big difference in the tent.
I had left my medicine at campground over at Valley of Fire, but that's a state park, so I got lucky.
Yeah.
I called them as soon as I got home and realized I'd left it up in the group campsite, and asked them to please go retrieve it so it didn't end up in the wrong hands. And when I got back up there an hour and a half later, they had a few questions for me, but I walked out with a smile on my face and all my meds, and I educated them a little bit on the program there, and they had actually asked me. They said, "So, what would happen if we called the police about this?" And I told them, I said, "Well, you'd be wasting my time, the police time, and your time, because I'm not breaking any laws. This is a state park. I'm a state licensed medical marijuana patient, and I just left this when I was packing my car.
Right.
I wasn't using it or anything like that. So I mean, there's an old law being broke here. So they let me go, and I walked out of there with my backpack smelling dank because they opened everything up. When I got there, the whole office stunk. It just, I knew they were already in my stuff because I could smell it, and they're like, "We got a few questions for you. Come with me." And they took me in back, and all my stuff's laying there out and open, and they're just like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "You don't know?"
It's like, why are you asking questions? Like, why don't you ask the question you want to know the answer to? You obviously know what it is.
Yeah.
But our hats are off to the Rangers of all across the country, because most of them are wonderful people, and they're not out to give you tickets generally, but there are idiots, and there's people that deserve to get a ticket.
And it also comes down to the ranger too, just like in politics. There's some rangers out there that have their own personal agenda. They don't believe in it, and they'll tie you up for nothing. Whereas other people, other rangers will walk up on you and say, "Put it out," or just don't do it here. You know what I mean? You get away with a warning, so.
Yeah. Alrighty, very cool.
Kind of leading into that, I got a story here about the death of Mr. Scalia, our Supreme Court Justice, and apparently there's a couple of marijuana related
and with caucuses coming up and all these things and the presidential candidates, and it's interesting the spin on Scalia, because a lot of libertarian friends are very constitutional, and he was constitutional. So how does he come out on marijuana? What do you see there?
Well, if you remember, Nebraska and Oklahoma filed a lawsuit against Colorado when they passed their recreational law because they don't like the dope and the dopers, and they don't want to deal with that border state nonsense and So they're doing what they can to shut it down through federal court, and they were just. I believe that the anti-marijuana lobby was hoping that Scalia would vote in their favor, as he kind of, I don't want to say historically has, he's kind of flip-flopped a little bit, but here, let me read what he said. When asked during an October 2014 appearance in Denver about how the federal-state conflict on marijuana should be resolved, he said the Constitution contains something called the Supremacy Clause, implying that the state legalization lacks legal legitimacy. Declining to elaborate further, he added, doing so could, quote, force me to have to recuse myself if a marijuana case reached the court. 2 months later, the court got such a case when two of Colorado's neighboring states filed suit, alleging their borders were being overrun by legal marijuana that they didn't want. While Scalia generally favored states' rights to act in response to what he saw as federal overreach in areas like gun policy, environmental regulation, and gay rights, he appeared to have somewhat of a blind spot with regard to state marijuana laws. For example, in 2013, Scalia wrote the majority opinion for the court in ruling that the police may not lead drug-sniffing dogs around people's homes without a warrant. Doing so, Scalia reasoned, constituted a search of the home. Scalia also wrote a majority 2001 case that found that the government's use of a thermal imaging device to look into the home of an Oregon marijuana grower without a warrant constituted an illegal search. So, due to Scalia's death, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen with that case now. Are they going to postpone it? Will they go forward? Will they wait for the new nominee? The Republicans have already said, we're going to block anyone you put forward, no matter who it is, without even hearing who it is.
Right.
So,
and I think that's just plain stupid.
Yeah, you got to wait to see who the hell they put forward. Like, I'm a Republican.
President's got his right to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, and, he does have a right to go forward and at least nominate someone.
And if they
should
want
probably,
a roadblock, they can do that too.
They should probably go ahead and, if
but
it's unreasonable,
let's see who the heck it is, because we don't know. I mean, we had John Robertson. He certainly confused a lot of people, didn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, on a number of issues. And the president's confused us, because we used to think he was going to be on our side automatic, right? I mean, come on, guys. We know how politics.
How quickly the tides change sometime.
Yeah.
You never really know how to put this.
And we ended up here in Nevada 15 years ago making this a constitutional guarantee. And so when we first started our battle weekend, this group here, when we went to the legislature, the Republican caucus was on our side. Then 2 years later, the Democrats were on our side and the Republicans were against us. So,
I just
don't know.
I just hope we don't have what happened last session, where almost nothing got done because it was such a flip from Democrat to Republican, and then the Republicans were fighting amongst themselves, and almost nothing got accomplished last session. It was sickening. So
I think we're in a much better position to.
Actually, Kurt, I think you got a story about that's coming up that ties into that.
We got a story. It just happened. This was I believe last week also, but judge rules Nevada's medical marijuana registration program is constitutional. So basically, what happened is we had Jacob Hafter, who's an attorney here in town. He put together a class action lawsuit, and it was started by one person who suffered migraine headache since he was 15 years old, and they went and they tried suing the state, saying that the program was unconstitutional because that we didn't have dispensaries, state licensed dispensaries for these people when they originally applied for their card.
And the fact they were collecting funds for 15 years without doing anything.
Yeah, and that you were having to wait for such a long time to get licensed.
So what went down? What ended up being the
violation?
The judge said basically it's constitutional and that the state isn't breaking any laws, that this is an optional program. Nobody's forcing you into using medical cannabis. And it's an optional program, and to sign up for it is an option. You don't have to do this. It's a alternative treatment.
So people knew what they were getting into when they voluntarily paid the money. They shouldn't be able to retroactively go back and collect it now that they didn't like the terms.
Yeah.
Well, too, also in the application, if you remember in your Nevada license, you sign a couple waivers. And that's what those waivers are about.
Yeah,
it really divorces the state from the responsibility.
Or surf.
Yeah. So, but eventually that will change. I'm sure we'll get all our constitutional rights, and Medicare and Medicaid will be paying the bill.
That was one. Yeah,
that's another one that's happening. Yeah. So.
And in that packet, that was one of the funniest things I found. I mean, first off, as a medical marijuana patient, I cannot be using my medicine and ride an amusement park ride.
Right.
That's one of the things you have to sign for. And then the most ridiculous one, as a Nevada patient, I can't use my medication in Nevada and surf. Not allowed to surf on your medicine.
Well,
That's
that would put me
specifically
out.
in that paperwork. So
I
no surfing here in Nevada.
I wonder if water skiing is just as bad because I water skied almost every day of my life, and I guess I would have really gotten into trouble because I always smoked a doobie.
But my question is, where the heck are you going to surf here in Nevada?
Really.
I mean, Lake Mead?
Go to
Lake Tahoe?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Not the best surf. Maybe a wake from a few boats. But
Yeah. Well, we probably should talk a little bit about the upcoming caucuses and things like that. Because Nevada is going to be in the news, and I guess they got a primary in the Carolinas, north or south, coming up also Saturday. But the Democrats will be caucusing across the state of Nevada this Saturday, and there's a little bit of conflict going on that with the religious community. I think you might have something on that, but I'll give you the information on the Republicans right now. They're going to be a week from today, and the Republicans are going to be meeting from 5 p.m. to basically 8:30 in the evening. The locations, you kind of have to go online to find out unless your precinct captain came by like mine did, which I was very surprised. An elderly lady, Jay Clark. I want to thank you for coming by and introducing yourself, and I appreciate you being involved. And but the Republicans, a week from the day, this Saturday, the Democrats meet, but they do have a growing issue with the caucus because a lot of the Jewish community and the Seventh-day Adventist community, I guess that's their holy day, Saturday.
That's right.
And the caucus starts like at 11 a.m., and so some of these people may not feel like participating in the caucus.
And I think caucuses are kind of stupid, but that's another story for another day. There's always an issue with that. There was always issues with who got to vote, who didn't, because some people are at work, this, that, and the other. So, it is what it is, and hopefully someday we'll be able to revert back to a true primary.
Right. But if you can go to the caucus Saturday and you're a Democrat, you can show up and you can register at that caucus. You can't do that at the Republican caucus.
I think you have to register by like last Friday or this Friday or something.
The Republicans had a deadline, but the Democrats don't have a deadline.
Yeah, the Democrats, you can do it at the caucus.
At the caucus. Bring your ID.
That's the way it should be.
Or verification, whatever they require, and participate in whichever one you want to participate.
It kind of falls into the lines with the new voting rules that they passed. It seems like the Republicans seem to make it a little more difficult. They don't want as many people to vote. It seems like they're trying to make it in some of these states that difficult to vote, whereas the Democrats are.
I don't want to get into what happened last time around with the Ron Paul supporters and how they were not allowed to vote, and the delegates this and that and the other, and then the Democrats have their own issues with the super delegates with Hillary and things like that. So we're all pretty guilty of
last time Sheldon
Adelson
Sheldon Adelson actually accommodated the Jewish Republicans when they had it on a Saturday, and so Shelley Berkeley, I guess, has offered Touro University Saturday for the Jewish Democrats so that they can do it after sundown or whatever. No.
Yeah, well, the Democratic Party
Democrats
came and said, "Oh, well, yeah, we can't do that," and so it's just one of those things.
Yeah, it's like okay,
we're almost ready.
But we're with you, and we hope that you can all participate one way or the other. Okay,
absolutely.
We've got some
sponsors to thank.
Yep, sponsors. We've mentioned all, but except for Inyo Fine Cannabis Dispensaries.
And they're doing
Las Vegas Relief.
They got
Las
a great
Vegas
shop.
Relief for the thing. Our Patients First meeting on the second Tuesday of every month is being moved. We are moving from the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf on Maryland Parkway to
The Source.
The Source, right next door to the Source Dispensary on Rainbow and
on the
Sahara.
southeast corner
of
Rainbow and Sahara.
Yes, you can't miss it. The entire shopping center.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a good mutual move for the patients and and for the organization, and we're looking forward to serving as many people as possible and continuing.
And big discounts there, and lots of fun and
discounts for the meeting members.
Check out meetup.com.
Our next big thing is our 420 party on the 16th of April. Please go to our Facebook, Weekend 702.
And we'll be out at Essence tomorrow night.
Okay.
Thank you again. See you next week.
And we'll see you on the radio.
Yeah.